And in this video tutorial, we'll be talking about functions in PHP. Virtually every programming language has the concept of function, but have you fully understood how functions work, what they are, and what they do? To get a clear understanding of this, you can think of functions as an isolated part of our program. So think of it as you are writing a particular chunk of code. Out of all your plenty lines of code, you have isolated a particular part. Why? To perform a particular task. That's exactly what functions are. Different programming languages have their methods of creating functions. In PHP, this is the format. You simply say function followed by the name of the function, followed by parentheses. Within the parentheses, you can specify some parameters. You may or you may not. Now, after the parentheses follows the curly braces, which specifies the actions that you want the function to carry out. To fully appreciate what the function does, you need to see it in action. I've created a functions.php file for this purpose. So let us create our very first function. Remember, we said you say function followed by the name of the function. In this example, I'll create a function, say hello. Why am I creating this function? I just want a function that will greet us and say hello to functions in PHP. Remember, this is the name of the function. This is a keyword in PHP that specifies that you are about to create a function. Now, after the name of the function, you are going to create a parenthesis. Now, within the parentheses, you may or may not specify parameters. In this case, there are no parameters. After which, you specify a curly braces. Then, within them, you could just hit the enter. So, at this point, we can now begin to type the actions that we want our function to actually carry out. Now, some people's style of doing this is this curly braces that has just been created. What they prefer to do is to hit the return from this edge, then in between they hit return, and all the actions they want to carry out will be specified in here. It's your choice, however you want to do it, but I prefer this one. It's okay for me like this. I like to create my curly braces here and close it at the point somewhere here. So now, what did we say we want this function to do? We want the function to greet us and say hello to functions in PHP. I guess we still know how to output content to the screen of our browser in PHP. That's exactly what we're about to do now. We simply say echo our single quotes, don't forget the semicolon, then we say hello, you are welcome to functions in PHP. So let me just correct this grammatical error. So this is as simple as it gets. All we want this function to do is to output hello, you are welcome to functions in PHP. So I guess we are done. All we need to do now is save this, come to our browser, and you know what to do. We have done this many times. Localhost / the name of your file, and you notice nothing happens. Why? I refresh this, refresh again, nothing happens. This is simply because we have created this function quite alright. We have specified the actions we want the function to carry out quite alright, but we are yet to call the function. How do we call the function? You simply come down somewhere here, if you may. Call the function by its name, followed by the parenthesis. Don't forget to add your semicolon. So at this point, we have successfully called the function. Here, we created the function, but if we refuse to call it, the function does absolutely nothing. So I'll just save this and refresh this, and you can see, hello, you are welcome to functions in PHP. Very, very simple. So at this point, you might want to specify a parameter. That is also very simple. If, for example, I want this function to say, hello, someone's name, and tell the person, welcome to functions in PHP. You could just come here and specify a parameter in form of a variable. In truth, it is actually a variable, but because it is within this parenthesis, it is referred to as a parameter. So I'm going to specify a variable and call it name. Now, at this point, what I can do is come here after hello and close this quote here, add a little space, come in front, concatenate this string with this variable name somewhere here. Now also concatenate this with the rest of the sentence. So what we have here now is hello, the person's name, let me add a comma, then say you are welcome to functions in PHP. Let me add a full stop as well. So I'll just save this, but we are not done yet. Why? Because we said we want a parameter to be supplied to this function, but where we actually call this function, nothing has been supplied to it yet. So at this point, the function needs a name. So I'm going to have to supply a name right now. I'm going to supply this name. So I'll just save this, come here to the browser and refresh this. You can see John here. Where was this John getting from? It actually started from here to here, and then finally it was supplied here. So remember, where we call the function, we specified the name because we asked for it as a parameter here, and this is the action we actually performed on the name, saying hello, the person's name, you are welcome to functions in PHP, and that is exactly what happens here. I hope this concept is not confusing. Now, something else we can also do is specify more than one parameter. So let's say, for example, I want to create a function that tells you how old you are. So I will create a function and name it how old in this case. Now, it's going to collect two parameters, the name and then the person's age. Okay, so in this case, I don't want it to actually output all of this mumbo jumbo. I just want it to output this. But in this case, I want to use the double quotes, since this is more flexible than the single quote, and I wouldn't have to start concatenating this and that. I will just supply the variable name straight into this. You'll see this in a moment and understand what I'm saying better. So at this point now, I will say hello, the person's name, and then say you are the person's age, years old. Full stop. Okay, I guess this is self-explanatory. So at this point now, we have created this function, how old, and we have specified the action we want this function to carry out.